So good afternoon, everybody. In the morning session, we have seen lots of talks onto technology advancements. Also now, Sir has touched upon the scalability. So always we wish this technology advancements to be also be implemented in our equipments and our plants. So I'm going to talk about what is the possible ways of implementing such solutions without compromising what has been work which is already done. So I'm going to talk about on a scalable and ultra fast automation. Let's say we know the technology advancement, how the technology advancement is done. These are very popular pictures now, multi-touch panels or a displays. Intel processors with continuously upgrading. The cloud computing we are saying for the data management. The different operating systems coming up into the market which are open and people are ready to put their applications onto it. I think smartphone, the best example. A few years down the line we could have seen just a phone with the functionality of just calling. But today if you take out your phone, almost we have a list which has been replaced, the components and the devices which have been replaced by a single device. Even the data storages, the size of the data storage are expanding. Like we are talking about previously the USB mem stick of few MBs, and today we can talk about the hard disk of 1 terabyte kind of thing. So see, the technology is advancing very fast. One thing is common here is they are getting faster and expandable. So we always wish that our plants also expand and the control system also to go faster and expandable. But let's see what is its current today's our plant design are basically limited by what control system can deliver. I'll give you an example. We have a controller, we have typically the IOs connected, and if you see the response time, typically the process is you sense the input is processed, it's transferred to the controller by a network, the logic is processed into the controller, and you get the output. So typical reaction time here depends upon how the input signal is processed, how fast the network is in between, what is the processing speed of the controller, and the output update. So we could think of the response type typically of 10 milliseconds. Then we thought 10 milliseconds is not enough, 1 millisecond, yes, we are faster. Then 1 millisecond is not enough, 100 microseconds. Yes, we could say, with some devices or few dedicated controllers, we say 100 microseconds, yes, fast. But can we go further? Can we demand further after this? Yes. We can demand a reaction time, a response time of 1 microsecond today. It's possible. And this is because of ultra fast control solutions available in the market today. Let's say we have seen one of the feature which we always like to have, like getting faster and faster. There are other challenges also. There are other features we already want to have in our plant, but we see they are not not commonly available. One end, we need a scalable system. What it means, scalable system means I can start design of my plant with whatever I require and seamlessly expand my plant whenever the plants need expansions. So we know typically after the commissioning phase, maybe 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, you need to expand your plants because of needs from the market. You need to expand your plants. But this expansion should be seamless, means without losing whatever the work software you have developed previously, and the scalability with complete range of processors, not limited by some ranges of the controllers. Another important aspect, safety. Yes, with the plants, we need the plants to be very safe to operate and to have a maintenance. But in typical classical scenario, we always see safety is the enemy of productivity. So we need both. We need safety also, but we need productivity also. Like we are getting faster and faster, so we need ultra fast reactions. We need to handle few IOs or a few process which is extremely fast. So typically what we can have, we enhance the capacity of the controllers. So you make the controllers faster and faster and faster to just address few of the process, high speed processes. But we'll see what is the other solution of it. There's a long talk about the long-term availability of those components, what you are getting, like the obsolescence strategies, and once the product is obsolete, how I am going to change over, what are the risks into the changeover. We'll see how it has been. Redundancy, the key concept for the maximum plant availability. But today I'm going to talk about a redundancy in a manner which is not restricted by a level of controllers. Let's say the level 1 will not have a redundancy feature, but level 3 can have a redundancy feature. I'm talking about a redundancy with a complete scale up, with a complete performance range of the CPUs. And a bus system which allows you to seamlessly integrate your component with any topology you want. The bus system is not restricting to you about of topology you want to add. It means you can add the control components by tree, line topology, ring topology as per your requirement. Let's see how the scalability today been handled typically. If we see at one end you have a conventional DCS system which are meant for a very high-end solutions, and obviously they are costly. The other end you have a PLC SCADA system which are cost effective, but they can suffice a medium range of applications. So there is always dilemma, how to start design. Should I go with the PLC SCADA system and later see for the expansion, or full-fledged I will implement a DCS system? So what you want to have, a system which can guarantee you a performance of both. Means a system, PLC system, performance of PLC system with the integrity of DCS, and options to connect the field devices into your systems. And that's what called as scalability. Scalability means you design your plant according to tailor-made requirements, what you want to have at the start, and during the expansion process, you seamlessly add the components or the devices you want to have for the expansions. Let's see how the solution looks like. You have a PCs for your engineering stations and operator stations which are connected to control systems which can handle the IOs starting from the few IO bunch to few thousand IOs seamlessly expand. Plus also gives you a flexibility to add the field devices into the system. So field devices are taken directly onto the network. So classically we started with a small system and we expanded our system. But beauty here is you are not completely thrashing out whatever the work you have done previously. Whatever the software architecture has been designed by your software engineers with the over period of time can remain same, and you can seamlessly add the other automation components to it, which gives you a complete scalable architecture. Safety systems, like I talked to you, the conventional safety, if you talk about, we have a relays and some speed monitoring devices. So typically, you have a lot of wiring for these safety components. There is a manual parameterization required for these safety components to be programmed. And that's difficult to serve. When there is a downtime, you want to address what has gone wrong, which wire is problematic, all that. So what do you have against it? We can propose a programmable safety solution which can have a safety controller along with a software program safety which can reduce your wiring efforts, the automatic parameterization of the component. So once you replace the safety component with a similar safety component, you doesn't need to program them again. They just get parameterized automatically. Plus, as they seamlessly integrate onto the bus, all the diagnostic and the maintenance of these components can be easily done. Now, when we talk about the safety, what we could get today, like a safety controllers, digital input, digital output, some analog input, analog output, counter modules, some motion components, which completely gives you highest level of safeties. We talk about safety being, the enemy to the productivity. So when you have a classical conventional safety system, and once you have a safety violation, what you see, the complete plant goes to shut down. So it's complete stop. So what could be the result? That, okay, you do the maintenance, you clear the safety, but there is a long startup time to take this plant again to the maximum full production rate. So how the intelligent safety, the smart safety solution can achieve this? You have a safety which is running. So safety is violated, suppose, to have the operator to need to be work something, but instead of plant going to shut down, it goes to some safe limited speeds, where the operator can clear the hazardous part, he can clear the safety, but the other machines are keep running at the lower speeds. So you are not losing the productivity. Plus, once your safety is clear, your plant can directly ramp up to your maximum production speeds. So the intelligent safety gives you a way to handle the productivity also and also the safety. So both are being achieved. So you have the architecture, the current plant architecture, and the safety components can be seamlessly added into the bus systems, into the existing system wherever you want, either remote locations or at the controller locations. And this has been programmed by a software tool, which is the same tool which you've been using for your controller programming. So you are not changing your software platforms for just adding of some safety components. We talk about getting the things faster and faster in the world. But typically, if you see, in the typical faster process, there are only few parts which needs to be handled. And to handle such part, the one way you increase the CPU performance level, like I was talking. So you keep on changing the CPU from higher and higher and higher. So which results in ultimate cost. You are investing more cost. But with reaction technology, what could have, you can group those extreme fast required IOs and can be connected locally by some modules. A module which can give a reaction time of 1 microsecond. Means your input is sensed, your logic is processed inside the module, and your output is fired. This whole process happens within 1 microsecond and without loading your CPUs. So you keep the same control architecture, but the ultra fast requirements can be handled locally on the IO level. And this can be achieved with the FPGA based technologies, and seamlessly again the same software tool is being used to program these IOs. So we are not changing the software platforms also to achieve such high speed requirements. There are a lot of talks of all these components when we say going faster and faster, and we know how the technology is changing. Let's take an example of your PC in our home. 3 years or 4 years down the line, whatever the PC configuration you are getting, If you ask it today, you will not get it. They're saying this configuration is not valid. You have to go completely for a new configuration, and generally we accept it. For PC we accept it. But think of plant level. If that component is getting obsolete, or I'm saying it's not available, and you need to completely go with a new performance level or a new level of components, imagine the cost you need to incur. And whatever the amount of work and the time involved by your software engineers to program all these components is been wasted. So we could dream of a component like which can gives you a life cycle more than 10 years or 12 years kind of thing. And this particular things can be achieved by introducing, let's say if you see the typical product life cycle, it starts from an innovation, then it's introduced into the market with the responses, it gets a growth, and ultimately with after certain duration of time it goes to saturity and decline phase. But if you introduce those components into the control system right at the innovation phase, we can enjoy the complete product life cycle. A typical example I would like to give, a B&R industrial PCs with a typical life cycle of availability of more than 10 years. Because with the special tie-ups or the tie-ups with the processor manufacturers like Intel, where we could get advanced information about the processors, we can incorporate into our products, into their innovation phase, we can test them and make them available along with the release of the product. And we can enjoy the seamless availability of those components. Then in the duration of the plant, yes, we know the plant needs to be redundant. There is a redundancy systems which are available. Or you have a plant which is running, which you have not, at the start of the phase, you have not introduced the redundancy. And after few years, you want to make the system redundant. So typical scenario again. Then you could start thinking whether this current level of controllers I am using support redundancy. If not, at what level I should go. So I need to go a higher level, second level, third level, which support the redundancy. Then I need to see of the work which I have done needs to be transferred. Or we can achieve a redundancy by using a similar component, the same component which you have used, add some redundant interface modules in the controller, connect them by a fiber optic link, and your system become redundant without doing a bit of software work into it. And it's seamlessly available for all performance ranges of the controller. So even though due to expansion you go for the higher controller, the redundancy is seamlessly available over the entire range. So you could have the primary PLC and the secondary PLC, one is active, other is standby, and the typical switching between your active to standby can be 2 scans of your controllers. This can be as fast as 2 scans of controllers. I'm talking about a B&R solution, it can go as fast as 20 microseconds. And both the systems with the help of virtual IP are connected to the higher levels, and when there is a transition from the active to standby or standby to active, the upper layer doesn't experiences those bumps for transferring the system. It's bumpless transfers. So one way you achieve the redundancy into your controller, into the system, without changing the architecture and without losing the software work what we have been developed. Now to have such functionalities and different ideas and the components to be implemented, you need a bus system which is open. Now when I use the word open, what does it mean? No license fees and no patents. The free specifications available, and you can seamlessly download the stacks and implement into your devices. plus a bus system which allows you to connect the component, again I'm emphasizing, with whatever the topology you want to have into your plant. And such system, a bus system, Ethernet power link, which is completely open protocol, managed by not a single technical company, but a group of company, Ethernet power link standardization group. And you can see already more than 9 lakh systems has been installed or working with the PowerLink, which is a completely standard protocol which based on the standard Ethernet with a typical cycle time of 100 microseconds and a jitter of less than 100 nanoseconds to achieve the maximum performance and high data throughput. So this is such kind of open bus system you always want to have to support such kind of scalable functionality. Is it a theory? Let's see some practical implementation. 728 motion axis synchronized at 400 microseconds for a film pulling plants. Really fast. Because at each stage, you need to pull the film to achieve certain accuracies and certain thickness. Or a redundancy concept for the maximum plant availability for thermal power plants with a multi-master and media redundancy by the Alstroms. So such bus systems are available and functional. They are available and they are running into the market. So let's sum up where we have started. We have started with a small plant or a plant with our requirement. Then with the help of this, we keep on expansion according to our requirement. We added safety components into the plant onto the same network. We introduced redundancy also onto the same platforms. Plus the ultra-fast reactions of the high-speed requirements of the plants been addressed by the local modules. And the field devices are seamlessly integrated onto the bus. So at one end you get a maximum diagnostics from all the automation nodes which are connected here directly to your controller, plus you get a complete scalable functionalities. So the features what we are talking about being scalable, safe, with the ultra-fast technologies, but keeping the maximum availabilities of these components, we can achieve today by a scalable and ultra-fast automations. And this, I would like to take a couple of minutes to brief about company, a B&R Automation. It's basically an Austrian company which is engaged in manufacturing of the automation components, like starting from the industrial PCs with the performance of Intel 3rd generation of processors, the scalable PLC system in terms of all ranges, for performance ranges, the modular I/O systems which can be seamlessly expanded, the intelligent safety system to make the safety of the plants, and a single common platform, a software platform to seamlessly program all those components. Without changing the software architecture, we can achieve these scalable solutions which is for machine automation as well as process automation, plant automations, or a factory automation. The same scalable components can be used. B&R having more than 175 offices worldwide, more than 70 countries to serve our customers, and more than 26,000 plant operators already trusting in B&R worldwide. With that, I'd like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.